Right. Let's see if we are on. Okay, we are on. We're live. I know it's a bit impromptu. This Facebook Live. You're watching it live. Then welcome to this session. And I guess as the post says, I'm going to share about what I learned about communication last night. But I guess as we come and wait for people to come on, right, I just want to touch on a bit about my Facebook post earlier, right? For those who have read it, if not, you can check out my Facebook profile about what I shared about the workshop that I attended last night. Okay, so what I did is there was a workshop that I attended last night that was hosted by this organization called Asia Works. So if you've been following my post lately, you will know that Asia Works is one of the programs that, as cliche as it sounds, truly changed my life. It helped me in terms of my awareness and helped me achieve my breakthroughs, and ultimately through the 90-day coaching program, I managed to achieve results that I never thought was possible, as cliche as it sounds. But so what happened is they do organize this thing called the communications workshop every Monday. I think they do twice every year. They've been conducting for about 20 years already, and in multiple countries such as Singapore, Taiwan, Indonesia, and they've been doing it on a very regular basis because they know that this life skill of communication is very, very important. Okay, so quick background that there were 4 styles of communication that came with it, and camera a bit too high. Okay, I'll try to lower it. So, is it okay now? Oh, it's okay now. So I can't really see it, but anyway, I think the angle should be fine, right? So anyway, just implement like I shared. Okay, so what happened is that there were 4 communication styles, and okay, looks good. Okay, so there were 4 communication styles, and the first part of the exercise was for people to actually divide themselves to what they thought they were. Okay, based on the styles. The exact names weren't shared yet, but based on what they thought they were like, they were asked to be divided into 4 quadrants because there were 4 types, right? And so people started moving and all, and then after that we did the exercise to have people to through their questionnaire, through their experience, their research, that these questions, when you answer them truthfully, that you'll be classified formally or properly. And it's not just you doing it yourself, you will actually have a friend or a family or loved one to do it for you as well. Okay, so that's when people stood up, and some of them actually went to their correct or more accurate quadrant. Despite of what they initially thought, they might actually move to another quadrant and move to another style instead. And so what happened was not a lot, quite a good number of them were in the different quadrant, and they had to move. And the observations were really interesting, right? Because you saw people's faces. There were some people that were a little puzzled, some people that were not very happy with the results of the questionnaire, some people were in denial and did not want to move at first. What I heard was that some people actually seem to have, based on past experience, seem to have kind of faked the questions because they've done it before. And they when they do it again, right, they kind of fake the answers hopefully to match their usual style. So people are like, hey, yes, it's like, of course you are a certain way, why are you in this quadrant, right? So there were a lot of interesting observations, right? So outside of what I learned for the communication issues, what I'm going to share with you tonight, I realized that a lot of people, they tend to see themselves as either one of the quadrant. So they put it as what I call, they put it as part of their identity. Hi Hui Chi, hello, hi Kevin. Alright, so thanks for coming on online. And so what happened was, one thing I realized is that people started putting this into their identity, which the trainer shared from the start, which is that it's a very dangerous mindset to have. Okay, so hear me out. I know it's a bit long-winded, but this is very important, not just for communication, but other areas of your life as well. Okay, so a lot of them thought that, for example, I'm going to say one of the stuff, for example, they thought they were huge analyzers, but it turns out they weren't, for example, and they were like, damn, why am I not? I thought all along I'm an analyzer. Why? What happened to me? Why have I changed? And they start being unhappy or not happy. So the thing is, the danger is when you place an identity of yourself, you seem to be stuck to that particular characteristic, and because of that, no matter what the situation is, you will use that, for example, the analytical mode. And while it might serve you at times, and the reason why you pride yourself as analytical must be because of reasons that have served you in the past, right? It doesn't mean that you have to be analytical all the time. Okay, if you understand, let me know, put in the comments. If you don't, let me know as well, so I can have better feedback. But the point is that a lot of us, we try to put different adjectives, a lot of characteristics, a lot of qualities to ourselves, and we are unwilling to change that part of us. Whether is it consciously or subconsciously. So, for example, when I like to say that. For example, I like to say that I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. And the more I say it, the more it's part of my identity. And no matter what the situation is, right, I'm happy-go-lucky. Even when it might not be the most effective response, most effective character to have, if you know what I mean. Because are there times when me being fierce, me being assertive, me being powerful is important? Absolutely, right? And if I keep going happy-go-lucky in my life, yes, some areas might be good, but there are going to be a lot of areas in my life that I'm not going to be at the level that I want. And so the whole point about whether the Asia Works or the Comms Workshop, and what the trainer was trying to tell us, right, is that it's not about you, like even when you find out a certain style, it's not that you are supposed to be that way all the time. The trick or the thing to note, or what successful and fulfilled people are, right, is that they are able to move at all four quadrants. Does it mean that you might be dominant in any one of them? Absolutely. But it's because of the fact that people, the people that do well, they are able to be flexible. They are able to be in any of the four quadrants of communication. For example, catering to the analytical people, catering to people that like excitement and noise and joy, catering to people who like to think a lot. And so when you think about your life, right, whether is it communication and outside, is that don't limit yourself to just a certain identity and part of you. Don't keep clinging on, because it doesn't. Most of us do it subconsciously, because it used to protect us in the past, based on past experience. But there's going to be a lot more that you can be if you choose to be open and try to activate certain parts of yourself. Are there times when being fierce and angry is good? Absolutely. Are there times when even being ruthless and stubborn is useful for you? Yes, these are traits that might be negative, but there are times when it's going to be so powerful for you to be able to use a time when you can be happy and funny at once, but you being able to switch to a point where you be strict, assertive, on a different situation cause of it, right? You're going to be a much more effective person. And that was the point of my post. I know I was a bit long-winded, the post was a bit long, but the whole point is that do not label yourself to a particular identity. Can you be dominant in certain characteristics and qualities? Absolutely. But don't let yourself be stuck to any one of the identity. Okay, let me know if you understand what I mean. Okay, about this whole part of identity. And it's a very powerful thing, and something, of course, Asia Works helped me was to activate the different parts of myself, right? And that's something, if you want to find out more, feel free to let me know. I'll be more than happy to check out with you. Okay. All right. Okay. So now I'm moving on to the my next part, which is about communication, right? So we're going to go deep dive into communication specifically. But the whole reason why I wanted to do this Facebook Live, just a quick history, is that in 2020, I committed to doing either one interview. It can be live, it can be not live, every Tuesday, and for every Thursday to conduct some form of a session, a webinar of sorts, or something, even an interview itself. But one thing I want to do is just to really train up and really build my online presence to actually help to impact and create more value for people. And I know writing posts serves a particular group of people, but I want to do a bit more videos, a bit more live sessions, hopefully to just serve a greater group of people and to share a bit more content, insights into what I've been doing, what I've been learning over the years. Okay, so let me know if you like it, and of course I'll try to do more. And if any topics, if any suggestions or what you want to learn about, and if I feel like I can help you out more, then I'll definitely be able to help out with it. Okay, okay. So today is about communications, and why I wanted to share about communication is because communication, which some people say is sales and all, but we all know that communication, influence, speaking with people is a skill that is important to you no matter what industry you're in. For majority of us. So even if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not a salespeople, you always have to communicate effectively with people, whether are they your bosses, your clients, your colleagues, your mentees, your mentors, your external party suppliers. There's going to be one point or another that you need to communicate with people. There are going to be times when you need to influence other people, and when you find out about the communication styles, right, you're able to have a more tailored strategy, a more tailored style towards when you're communicating with someone. And at the same time, when the person communicates with you, you are, like I said just now, identity, you are able to adapt based on what the person is as well. So a lot of people might be sharing like, hey, why can't a person adapt to me? Why do I have to be always the one adapting to someone else? And that's when the trainer shared like, it's all about choosing whether you want to be reactive and just being sian and shag about the whole situation, or you can choose to be responsive, right? You can choose to be proactive in wanting to create the kind of future you want yourself. And one of the biggest things you can do is honing your communication skills and being aware of the 4 styles that I'll be sharing with you in a few minutes time is going to be very, very important for you. Okay, so communication is very important no matter where you are, and knowing your own style and knowing how to adapt is very important as well. So it's not just about others, but it's about yourself and how you react to your own internal thoughts at the same time. Knowing when to be a bit more analytical, when to be a bit more straightforward, when to be more assertive. These are very important skills for you at the same time. Okay. All right. So I'm going to reply some of the comments later. So thanks for all the comments. I'm going to share a bit more later. Respond to a bit about them. Okay. So very important, be important and flexible. And now I'm going to share with you the 4 styles. Okay. So this is the first time I'm going to do this setup. Hopefully it works well. If you can't really read properly, let me know. I'll try to improve it, and whether it's the lighting and all in the future. Okay. So the first style, right, which I want to share about is the style called a promoter. Okay. So this, being a promoter just basically means that you are someone that loves to promote ideas. Okay, that means you are someone that loves new experiences, you love new things, and you are very excited by new projects, new initiatives, and you constantly have ideas, and you constantly want to work on them, you constantly want to share with other people. And for a lot of times, it's actually a very good thing to have a promoter in your group, promoter in your team, a promoter in your company, because they are the ones that actually can bring energy and life to the group. They're actually people that can be the creative and coming up with new ideas for everyone to be part of. They raise the energy levels. They're usually the life of the party. They're the ones that drag the not so active ones to go and have fun together. So people generally like the energy of promoters. Okay. They are usually a bit more extroverted. They're not exactly they can be introvert, but they can be a bit more active outside. But this is just the general guiding of promoters. People that have a lot of ideas. They love what they call shiny new things, like new projects, and it's actually a refreshing. Sometimes it can be a very refreshing energy to be around people who have a lot of ideas and who are just ready to go to start on a new project, new goal. These are the people to be around with. On the flip side, right, promoters are people that have very little attention to detail. So what happened is they might have a new goal, might have a new project, and they'll say, let's go. But they usually won't take into account the small little details, the mechanics behind the project, and the small things that usually have to be taken care of at the same time. Under stress, promoters also tend to get a bit demotivated, because if they realize that the idea that the group is going to work on, for example, is something that doesn't really excite him or her, he gets bored easily and gets shut down. So that's the thing about, if you want to handle promoters, you must usually try to emphasize on the excitement of the project, even though it might not be, if you know what I mean. You must always try to show what's the purpose behind it, and hopefully it's something that excites the promoter. If you really want to bring out the best, the most energy out of a promoter. So people with promoter styles are those that don't like boredom, they don't like processes, they don't like being bogged down. So of course, if you want to work with promoter, even as a boss, you need to actually provide some form of autonomy to that person, and that would be a very good way for them to bring them out. Okay. So the other part is they also can be considered as a bit impulsive. So they can, like I said, because they can take action quickly, they can just go crazy. People might see that as an impulsive, and after a while, right, there is the challenge that people don't take you seriously at times. So that's just a quick potential downside of being a promoter, because you have so many ideas all the time, and especially if you don't follow through on them, right? People might not start taking you seriously. People might just think that you're just someone that has a lot of ideas but all talk, no action. And at the same time, you jump into conclusions very easily. Okay, so you quickly want to come into a decision and just to keep moving forward. So that might be a downside as well. So if you are someone that you identify as someone who is like a promoter, that means that's your dominant style, you really have to, when you talk about implementing ideas, coming up with ideas, you can come up with ideas for sure, but when you start taking action on them or you start proclaiming to the world that you do it, you might just want to take a step back, breathe, take 10 deep breaths, and really just think through before you announce or you proclaim something. Because the more you do it and you don't follow through, it's actually a very dangerous thing to have. Alright, so that's a very quick description of what promoter is. Of course, there's a lot more details, a lot more nuances, but of course, that's why there's a 3-hour workshop for. If you're interested in the next one, let me know. I'll be happy to invite you. And there's a opportunity, there's a way they can get it totally free as well. So people have to pay $50 for the workshop. They don't really make money from it, but if you want to get it free, let me know. There is a way for you to get it free as well. Alright, so that is about being a promoter. So like just a quick one, like fun, you have ideas, but because of that you can be seen as impulsive, and you jump into conclusions, for example. So these are the things to watch out for when it comes to being a promoter. Okay. Let me just check it here. Okay. So yeah, so 10 people like, well, that's pretty cool actually. All right. So if you're enjoying yourself, just comment here and like it. So at least I know that there's some people. So thanks Siri, thanks Kevin for providing feedback. But anyone else you're interested, just comment something. I'll know that you are around. Okay. So next one, we have the second style, which is what I mentioned a bit earlier, which is the analyzers, right? So I think you all will know who analyzers are. These are the people that think a lot. They have huge attention to detail. They are very methodological. That means they have a lot of they have very good processes. That means they always want good processes to put in place. They like structure. They like being having the most information, the most data before making a decision, which can be very important at times. So they did say that if you want to be a consultant, right, the analytical mind is actually very important. Okay, so the things when you say something, usually is after a well thought out things that go into your mind before you say it out, and so people of sorts can take you seriously. So that's a good thing, because people know that when you say something, it's usually after you have thought through it, and they can generally trust what you share. Alright, so there's something about analyzers which is good. So these are people that's good for being a chief operations officer, people that roles that require a lot of details, a lot of information. These are the people to go to, the analyzers. So of course the downside, right, is I think most of you might kind of guessed it, is that these people are very slow to take action. They might get stuck at times. So under stress, right, analyzers just get stuck where they don't have the information they want, they don't have the data they want. Under stress, under pressure, right, they just get stuck, and they might just stop analyzing. Because why? There might be nothing to analyze in the first place. So that's a challenge with analyzers. If they think too much, they don't take action, right? Ultimately, nothing happens. Okay, so I think some of you, like myself, also can relate that the more we think, but we don't take action, right? We're just going to get stuck and nothing gets done. So that is the challenge with analyzers. And this is something that I've seen from a lot of my friends, the people around me, a lot of analyzer mode. So their dominant style might not be an analyzer, but because they're in the analyzing mode, right? Whether is it to do with heavy decisions like their career, whether to go for a holiday and whatnot, they think so much to the point they don't take action. And because of that, it prevents them from progressing in the areas of life, whether it's relationship, wealth, happiness, career. And it's what I call it is a bit sad in that sense, because these analyzers usually they are very smart, intelligent people, but it's the fact that they don't take the action that they don't get what they want. Okay, so that's for analyzers. And if you want to work best with them, you need to provide them with as much structure as you can, as much knowledge as you can, be prepared with data, be prepared with information, and that's how you can best bring them out. Okay, the other challenges with being an analyzer is that you generally do not trust people of the first group, which is the promoters, because these are people with a lot of ideas. They just go whack, they just go say a lot of things, but because of that, analyzers is like kind of like opposites of promoters, right? Because analyzers is looking at you like you have no information, why are you sharing all these things? Whereas promoters are thinking, dude, like, come on, it's a new idea, let's go, don't have to wait so much, So there's a kind of bad conflict between an analyzer mode and a promoter mode, okay? But of course, the best thing is there's always a balance of both. All right. Yep. So that's the part of an analyzer. So the thing is, you think a lot. You need a lot of data. You need a lot of information. The question is, might be very slow to take action, and especially if you're in the startup space, if you're an entrepreneur, you know that this is a very dangerous one, because ultimately you have very low speed in what you do. So that's just something to watch out for, because you have very low speed. And yeah, okay. So these are the things to look out for analyzers. And if you are one, it might be time to just start taking action instead of thinking too much. All right. So next, the third one is I'm gonna write it here. Is what we call a controller. So there are a lot of names for this. These are what we call the type A personalities. These are the ambitious people who are gung-ho, people who really want to chong sua and just achieve their goals, ambitious, and really just to get the ball going. They take lots of initiative, they get the team together, they are usually the leaders, the most outspoken ones, they want to drive things. Okay, so these are the ones that are very results oriented. So these are the people that get things going. They're the ones that usually you might see on stage, and all the ones that is driving things forward, team leaders, bosses. Yeah, so these are the people that really get things done. If you want to get things done, you find this group of people. They're usually competitive as well, so they like competition, and the goal really excites them. Okay, the achievement of the goal excites them. Sorry. Okay, so of course the problem is, right, there is the huge problem of what I call results over people. So that's the thing is, if they just keep focusing on results, they usually, especially if they work in a team or they have to cooperate with other people, they usually neglect and disregard the people aspect of it. So there's a challenge with people that are what I call controllers, right? They just like to kick them aside. If they're not working, they just give you hell. They don't really, they usually tend to disregard people, other people's feelings, other people's thoughts, other people's opinions, other people's perspectives, especially if you might be so-called slower than them. So that's the problem, is you might rub people off the wrong way. And so while we might get things done, there's a good possibility that there's going to be a lot of what I call negative side effects from that particular project or goal. Okay, so that's why you are unapologetic. You tend to create tension among people. You are just going for efficiency. But sometimes you might need to take a step back to really move things forward again. But the thing is, the more you try to save time, the more you try to be fast, efficient, effective, right? There's a good chance that you might not achieve the goal in the end, because you're just trying to move fast and trying to achieve the goal itself. Okay, lack patience, and yeah, so you also lack a lot of patience, which is the same as you just want to be as efficient as possible. The best ways to work with people, of course, you have to give them goals. You have to give them competition, deadlines, targets, KPIs, and these people love it. They thrive on these targets. They like the pressure, they like the stress. So if you want to work best with them, you give them this sort of things, they will just get it done. But as a controller, if you're someone who's controller, you have to sometimes step back and realize that, hey, maybe I have to care about the people as well. Maybe sometimes I have to take a step back too. And sometimes I just have to be a bit more patient if I really want the whole group to work together towards a common goal. Okay, so that's the part about being a controller, and that if you are a controller, right, it's a great trait to have, especially to achieve things. But at the same time, there's a good risk that you might burn out. You might actually burn out quite easily as time. If you just keep going, you just want to keep going, and you might burn out very, very easily at the same time. So just be careful if you are someone who is a controller. Be prepared to take some time off the goal sometimes to just focus on other things, whether is it your relationships, whether is it just to build relationships with the rest of your team members, and obviously all this in the long run, they do help as well. And at the same time, people like you and respect you, and they don't just follow you just because they are afraid of you and whatnot. Okay, even in relationships, this is something to watch out for as well, especially if you are constantly in that controller mode. All right. So the next one and the final one is what we call a supporter, right? So supporter, I think you might see from the name, is so opposite from what you call controller, right? They are people over results, right? So instead of focusing on the results all the time, they're actually very focused on the people. They like to develop interpersonal relationships. They like to always care about other people's feelings. They like to help other people. They are very people person. And as long as people are happy, people are great, sometimes the results don't matter. So these are the people that make you feel good. If you feel down, these are the people that you can speak with. If you want to open up to someone, these are the people that can really help you. They do their best as long as they can do their ability to do so. And sometimes they are more than willing to sacrifice results for the people. Okay, so supporters are what some of us call givers as well. They are very likely to want to help other people, even we should be expecting even at the expense of their own self as well. So sometimes they might be what we call self-sacrificial. They might not be assertive enough. They might not want to share their own opinion, their own stand, their perspective, even though sometimes they know that they might be right. They have good ideas, but to preserve the harmony of the group, preserve the harmony of the relationship, they might not want to speak out, which can be a wasted thing. But sometimes, of course, your ideas are good, but the fact that you don't speak out just to preserve that harmony might not help things forward in the long run. Okay, so these are just the things to watch out for if you're a supporter. That yes, it's good that you care for people, you want to contribute, you want to grow, but there's always the expense of what I call results. That means you might do it in results. And the thing is, for example, like who do you think, at least in my humble opinion, right? Who do you think creates more value around the world? For example, Warren Buffett, right? Or Mother Teresa. Okay, so I know some people might be offended at that thing, but Warren Buffett with his billions, because he gets the job done, right? He gets his investments done, for example, compared to maybe Mother Teresa, for example. Yes, she does a lot of great stuff, but the scale, the value, as in, at least when you talk about absolute level, right? Warren Buffett, of course, provides a lot more help and value to the world. Or even Bill Gates, and what he does. So the thing is, yes, you can be a supporter, but always take note that you still have to focus on results at times, even if that means damaging people's feelings and whatnot. Okay, so just something very key to think about. There are people that what I call burn out easily because they keep trying to help other people, and they also what I call self-sacrifice. Okay, so because of just wanting to make people happy, they might actually sacrifice a lot of their own interests, which might be very important for them as well. Okay, so these are the 4 different styles that I hope you can have. Okay, let me just check something here. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I'm going to share about the 4 communication styles. And the important thing to do, right, for this thing, tonight, right, if you are hearing this, whether is it live or whether is it via recorded video, is just to ask yourself, right, to just think through which one is your dominant style. Which one do you feel that you are more likely, which one do you tend to use more of? Okay, and think through some of the potential pitfalls, the potential downsides of having it, and is this something that's operating in your life? If it is, try to be at least be a bit more aware of how you can overcome those challenges and how you can actually use others. You can use other communication styles at different situations at the same time. Okay, and for example, if you're in a relationship or if you have a boss or colleague that you don't really have a good communication with, sometimes there are communication breakdowns and all. Try to think through, is it because you two have different communication styles, and make that effort, make that decision to try to respond to them in a more effective manner using this framework. Okay, so I think that's it for my session. I think I just have a few last things. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, the whole thing about identity. Yeah, so you can just check it out on the earlier part of the video. I shared it. But if not, if you are hearing this, you like the video, let me know. Put it in the comments here. If not, if you have any feedback for me, feel free to let me know in the comments, or you can DM me as well. At the same time, you can also just share with me if you like the video. I think that would be very, very meaningful. That would be very helpful to me as I try to create a lot more videos for you at the same time. The last thing I want to share is that please take this date down, right? 6th February in the evening, right? So it'll be at International Plaza. Okay, so me and Resh, most of you watching this will have no Resh. We are going to do a sharing just less than 100 hours after our Funnel Hacking Live in US. So compared to maybe some other people, right, they are going to Funnel Hacking Live, the event right at US with the big marketers. There are going to be 5,000 people. Tony Robbins is going to be there. Huge millionaire marketers going to be there. And while most other people, from what I heard, they are going to extend their trip. They're going to holiday and all. Me and Resh are going to fly back straight away from the US, right? So we're going to fly there We're going to fly there, go for 4 days of the marketing conference, and just come back immediately. And in just less than, I think, 1 or 2 days after that, we're going to do emergency and urgent sharing of whatever we learned, our lessons learned from Funnel Hacking Live, which is going to be huge. And this, I didn't go for the event last year, but that sharing session that Resh conducted with Gabriel Wong, Jin and Gavin is something that really changed the trajectory of my life, of sorts. You could say that. Okay, so keep your date free. I'm going to share with you more details as the date comes along. Yeah, but if not, then I end my session. Let me know what you think, and have a very good night, and have a good Friday. TGIF. Bye.